Broncos country, it will be okay. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown, the 0-1 Broncos Breakdown, following the blunder in the Pacific Northwest last night as Denver came up short and Nathaniel Hackett had probably the worst head coaching debut in terms of where the expectations were and how hyped we were all training camp and preseason, and then the product that came out on the field. We're going to break down this entire game. We're going to go through a lot of quotes and a lot of socials and stuff like that. But we were about to start filming a couple hours ago, and then I saw that Hackett was going to speak to the media today. And I figured, let's wait. Let's see what comes out of this press conference. Hopefully he will come to his senses and see what we all saw, which was a horrible decision on 4th and 5. And sure enough, here it is. Hackett speaking to the media today, saying, looking back at it, definitely should have gone for it. You think? I mean, I'm happy that he's at least come to his senses. That's step one. I still have concerns, though, because he was pretty adamant last night, in his not just reasoning, but his logic behind why they went for it, right? He said, we got to the marker. We got to the 47-yard line. That's the threshold for Brandon McManus? 60-plus yards. He's cash money? What? I'm sorry. He's not Justin Tucker. He isn't, okay? In fact, CBS Sports had a great tweet that you all should see. Russell Wilson on 4th and 5 or less in the fourth quarter in his career, nearly 70% conversion rate. Percentage of 64-plus yard field goals in the last 30 years, 6.1. Why was that the number going into this game? That's concerning, okay? It is one thing as a head coach if you go for it on a 57-yarder, trust in your kicker, and he comes up short. I don't hate that, especially with a proven kicker like McManus. But 64 yards when it's just 5, it would have been one thing if it was 4th and 11, right? Actually, I think 4th and 6 is my max. Anything over 6, maybe then you should kick the field goal. But 5 for Russell Wilson, who, yeah, I think we've all seen it. The QB that you traded all those picks for, the guy you gave that huge record-setting contract extension to, the quarterback who left Seattle, ironically, because the offense was too conservative and the coaches didn't want to put the ball in his hands late in games, ultimately ends up where he started, which is not letting him go for it on 4th and 5. I thought this tweet from Warren Sharp was pretty interesting too. Brandon McManus' career history on 62-plus yard field goals. Miss. Last night, miss. This is what Nathaniel Hackett opted for instead of the $242 million quarterback in Russell Wilson on 4th and 5. Now, McManus, after the game, I don't blame him, right? Be confident and be a team player and go, yep, I should have made it. 46-yard line left hash was my line to get to. They got it there. Need to make that kick. Do you? I'm sorry, what kicker? Not even Justin Tucker's at the level of 64-yarders. You got to make those. What? No, anything under 50 in the NFL, you have to make. Good kickers, you don't sweat out 50-yarders usually. There's no kicker who is automatic from 64 and has to make here, all right? Now, there is an interesting thing that I want to share, which is after the game, Hackett fielded a ton of questions about the decision. And one notable thing that kind of gets forgotten about was McManus trotted out to the field and made an attempt at it before Seattle called a timeout, which was a big wide left kick. And then there were some thoughts of, maybe after saying that, you want to change your mind? You got a do-over button. You want to click it? Here's what he said. No, I was happy he got that one out of the way. I thought he had plenty of distance on that one and just thought that we were going to be able to make it. I have confidence in him. And if we have to put him in that situation again, I think he'll be able to make it. Hey, Hackett, here's some free advice right now. As someone that still believes in you, I do. I'm not saying Fire Hackett. People have said that. I'm not in that club. Don't put him in that situation again. Put Russell Wilson in the 4th and 5 situation. Do not put Brandon McManus unless you're at home. Which, by the way, the longest field goal in Seattle at Lumen Field, I believe, is 56 yards. You wanted to beat it by 8? Okay, now Russell Wilson, of course, is going to be a team player and support his guy. He did not disagree with the decision. Well, we got the best field goal kicker maybe in the game. So, yeah, you should kick it. I bet Russ was furious because the whole saga was that Seattle didn't want to let Russ cook. And Russ wants to put up an MVP season. You know what's a pretty good start to an MVP season? A big 4th and 5 conversion to win the game. So now we come to this question. Be better, Hackett. I'll let you guys be the head coach. What would you have done? Would you have gone for it? Which I pray to God I just see G's in the chat. Or are you Hackett's burner and you want to go with K for kick? Let me know in the comments. I better see only G's in the comments. Okay, I want to raise morale a little bit, including myself. I thought this tweet from Albright was pretty insightful yesterday. Broncos veteran player via text to me just now. I feel better about our chances at 0-1 with this team than I felt at 3-0 last season. We're tougher, and if the fans stick with us, we will win. So you got that to kind of spin zone yourself into, because let's face it, Denver did start 3-0 last season, and the 3 wins, Giants, Jags, Jets, were against teams that picked at the bottom of the top of the draft, right? So all in all, the naysayers were correct, and ultimately, you played a Seahawks team that was playing their Super Bowl. Honestly, ideal situation for Seattle now is lose every game. You beat Russell Wilson. Congrats, right? You can hold on to that win forever. Now you probably want to lose every game so you can go get C.J. Stroud or maybe even Bryce Young. Now, I do have some key stats I want to share, not just like rushing and passing stats. I found these stats to be really jarring. In the red zone yesterday, the Broncos were 0 for 4. Unacceptable. Just have to be better than that. Of course, 2 goal line fumbles does not help in that situation. Penalties. The Broncos had 12 penalties for 106 yards. A lot of false starts, undisciplined play, sloppy penalty from Kareem Jackson early on. Just can't have it. You just cannot have that kind of game. In a game where Seattle is going all chips in and they are doing everything to win just one game. First down penalties for Seattle, by the way. First downs via penalties for the Seahawks. 7 of 19. The Seahawks got over a third of their first downs from Denver screw-ups. Just can't do that. You just can't. There's no X's and O's analysis right here. You have to be better disciplined. And that starts from the coaching. And I was a defender of sit the starters in the preseason, especially after Patrick's injury. You don't want to see another player go down. But it comes at a price of you might sleepwalk in the first quarter or two, like the Rams did, like the Bengals did. Those teams woke up a little bit more, not so much the Rams, but at least the Bengals did. The Broncos, they started to play better. The funny thing is, and we'll look at some key takeaways and some injury notes in a second, but at least for the defense, Seattle didn't do anything in the entire second half. It was the offense that never was able to go step for step with the Seahawks and Geno Smith. Denver traded for the wrong QB. All right, here's my overall take, though. It'll be okay, okay? I promise you that. It will be. Good teams have horrible losses. Seattle played in their Super Bowl. Seattle came out ready to go, wanting to win this game, and credit to them. They were the better team last night at Lumen Field. But I am not panicking. I am not in a belief of this is the beginning of the end. It's just going to snowball from here, and the Broncos are going to have another disastrous season. No, it will be okay. This is a very talented locker room with a lot of key leaders in it. They will rally, and they will beat the crap out of the Texans at home this week. All right, coming up next, we got the good from Monday night we're going to look at here. So, a lot of bad. We got some good, though. And we'll look at that, okay? Make sure you guys aren't too down on what happened yesterday and try to find some silver linings and some positive things from it. But first, BetUS, our sportsbook partner, I am not going to advertise to bet on the Broncos this week. -6.5, I thought, was the capital of Lockland, USA from Seattle, and it did not hit. So we are pivoting. We are going to change our bets this week. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Broncos125. Ride with me. Lions -1.5, -1. It's the Hard Knocks bet, right? You watch Hard Knocks, you just believe that team has to go to the playoffs. Detroit lost a close one against Philly last week. Washington eked one out against Jacksonville. I'm taking the Lions -1 at home. Give it to me, baby. I've got Detroit -1. We're taking a break from betting on Denver right now. They have to prove that they are worthy of it. All right, let's get to some injury news now. All right. So we got some updates following Monday night, and all in all, the Broncos were relatively healthy. Unfortunately, Quinn Meinerz did suffer a hamstring injury. He said he tweaked it in the first drive, and he went out for the second and the third hoping it would go away, and it only got worse. And he's expected to miss a few weeks. I'm going to suspect they put him on short-term IR. Maybe by the time you're watching this, he is on short-term IR, and that will open up a roster spot for maybe Moody to come up from the practice squad. And with that, it's going to be the old starting interior offensive line, Reisner, Cush, and Glasgow at your guard and center position. I see why Graham got benched this offseason, right? He was a disaster when he came in for Meinerz last night. And Meinerz and Fleming, I mean, hey, who saw Cam Fleming start yesterday? That was a curveball, but I didn't hate it. He was not the issue. He was not the reason the Broncos lost. All right, let's get to some good from Monday Night Football. First one being Bradley Chubb is back. He was great, I thought, at least after the first half. He had to get his footing, right? He had to get some of the cobwebs out, and that's okay. That's kind of expected for week one, especially when you don't play any preseason games. But I liked what I saw for a player that had basically no impact last season and has been dealing with injuries. He put up some great numbers in week one against Seattle. 6 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble on Geno Smith. PFF gave him an overall grade of 86.9. Guys, if you don't know how the nerds at PFF work, that's a really good grade. I liked what I saw out of Bradley Chubb, so that's a positive. Now, producer Patrick wants to ask this question. I wanted to ask something about Bradley Chubb. He has a question for the country. Are you guys losing confidence after week one in this team? Or are you like, you know what? It's 1 week. Stay calm. RELAX. Relax. It'll be okay. Let me know. I am not. I am not losing confidence. I'm not overreacting to the point of Hackett's got to go. This is a bad hire. This is not going to work. Shouldn't have traded all those picks for us. No. Take a deep breath. It'll be okay. Okay. Second good takeaway. Jerry Jeudy scored. Something we haven't seen in a long time. Didn't score a touchdown last season. Happy to see him get that out of the way, right? Just an awesome touchdown over the rookie, Kobe Bryant. Just snatched it right out of his hands and then took it the distance. Probably the highlight of the whole game. I think it has to be. So, Jerry Jeudy finding the end zone. That was awesome to see. Teammates of his said expect more of this throughout the season. So, hopefully Jeudy can build off of this and really look like the first round pick he was and be that top wide receiver duo with Courtland Sutton all year long. Probably the biggest takeaway in terms of a positive, Andrew Beck for most valuable player. Who saw that coming? I mean, let's kind of end with a smile on our face here. Do the Broncos have a secret weapon in fullback tight end combo in Andrew Beck? On his first reception, he had nearly triple the yards he's had in his career receiving. Andrew Beck, if you're watching, like, I know the whole locker room's bummed out, but he's the one guy sitting in his locker room like, if someone wants to come over and pat me on the head and say, hey, at least you played great, that would be awesome because I did more than my job. I am not the reason we lost. All right, that is going to do it for us on today's show. Appreciate all of you for joining into this therapy session, this vent session, this take a deep breath, breathe out, relax. It's going to be okay. Hackett, figure it out.